Last year, I lived in Hong Kong for 6 months. And this is everything I learned and everything important I want to share with you. I'm going to be talking about the arrival, the dorm life, university, the food, all the culture shocks I had, and how to travel in Hong Kong. So feel free to skip around in this video if there's something you want to learn specifically. And let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is the arrival. Get the octopus card as soon as you arrive in the airport. It costs 200 Hong Kong dollars. You can get it right there. You can also get some cash while you're at it. And don't get the SIM card yet. The SIM card is very, very cheap if you get it in a supermarket called Park and Shop. It costs 33 Hong Kong dollars and you get 60 gigabytes of internet for 1 month, which is very cheap. A lot of internet, a lot more than I've ever seen in any other country. So do that one. My arrival was horrible. It was because my flight got delayed and I had such little time to actually arrive to the dorms, and there was a time limit until when you had to check in. So I had to call the people that I could find online. I had to extend my check-in time and I had to kind of arrive on time somehow. Well, I had a lot of heavy luggage and it was very hot outside and I was wearing my 5 centimeter Dr. Martens platform boots. It was insane, but I somehow made it. And what I wish I would have taken the taxi. So I took the high-speed train to Kowloon, and then after that I took a bus, which turned out to be a minibus. As the driver didn't speak English, I did not have any internet. It was very dark outside. I would not recommend doing that. So what I would recommend is either you gotta sometimes spend money. You either spend your money and take the taxi directly from the airport, or you take the high-speed train to Kowloon or to the nearest station, and after that you take the taxi. This is my recommendation. It would have made my arrival so much easier, but instead I took the hardest route and I did the minibus. There is also a way of how to go with the MTR, but I thought that Google Maps was showing me the fastest route, which it wasn't, because I didn't know that these minibuses even existed and that they were so slow. Okay, so let's talk about the dorm life. This is not very Hong Kong specific, but in general, being an exchange student, you have to make friends. The first 1 to 2 weeks of living there, you need to find a friend group. Go to as many events as you can, even if you're tired, even if you don't want to. Go talk to as many people as possible, because that is going to make your life a lot easier and a lot more fun, so you can go travel together with all your friends and you can help each other out, find different spots, blah blah blah. So the first 2 weeks are very important, so make sure to do that. The dorm that I stayed in was the official dorm for PolyU, which is the university, the Polytechnical University of Hong Kong. So their dorm was very cool actually. It was 15 minutes by foot from the campus. So one room was for 2 people. It was kind of like a symmetrical room. Imagine like my room right now, but shared by 2 people. And so 2 people share one room. There is a bathroom in the middle and then 2 people on the other side of the bathroom. Dude, look at this bed. Look at this. Oh, this is my mattress. My mattress. But I mean, you can't complain, you're not paying much for this. So this is my side. This is my roommate's side, and entrance and toilet. And our side was only girls, so it was 4 girls sharing the whole thing, which was pretty cute. I mean, it was kind of small and you didn't have that much privacy, with having to share a pretty small room all the time, but it's way better than things I've seen even in Turkey, for example, where people have to share a room with 4 or 8 people with bunk beds. So it was really not that bad. So the dorm had a lot of floors. I don't remember how many exactly, but it was something like 15 or even more. Every 2 floors there was a common room where you could hang out, and it had 2 kitchens that you can cook in, whatever, and it had a pretty nice view of the surroundings, and it also had a view to the pool, because the dorms had a pool, because Hong Kong is pretty hot, so you could go swim. They also have a gym. They also have a few different rooms for studying, for meditating. There was a dancing room and stuff like that. And they later on also made a new canteen for the dorms, which I only ate at once because it I think they made it the last month of something of my stay. The girls and boys cannot sleep over at each other's rooms. that's breaking the rules, and you can also not drink alcohol in the rooms. And there are no sleepovers allowed. So if you have someone visiting you in Hong Kong, they're not allowed to stay in your dorm for the night, and they have to leave by 12. And if they find you, you can get kicked out pretty easily. They're like very strict with this. The elevators were crazy, bro. They had 3 elevators. One of the elevators went to every floor. One of the elevators was only for odd floors, and then there was one for every even floor. It was the first time I've ever seen a system like this, and it was always packed. Like, I don't know if the system was helping anything, because I think they were thinking, oh yeah, like people who live in the odd floor will only take this elevator and something, but bro, no. Everyone was clicking on every button. All elevators were stopping at every floor, every time, because it was just, there were so many people. Now let's talk about the university itself. So as I had mentioned, I went to the Polytechnical University of Hong Kong, so PolyU, which is known to be a very good university. It has a very good ranking if you look at it like universally. I think it's in the top 100, and I went to study design there, which I usually don't study design. I study something called media informatics in Germany, which is kind of translated to like media computer science, but my minor was like in user experience design, UX design. So I was always interested in like design, communication design, and if you've seen my older videos, you know I like to draw. I'm a pretty artsy girl. So I applied to study communication design there, and after applying there with my portfolio, they accepted me, and it's known to be a really good design university as well, so it's very nice. The teachers are so passionate about what they're doing. They are all super nice. It always feels like a classroom. You get a lot of attention. If you have a question, they are always there to answer. It was very different to like German university, where in Germany you're non-existent. You're just anonymous because the classes are so big. But in Hong Kong, it felt like you're actually learning something. And one more difference is that like in Germany, you don't have to go to class most of the time, but in Hong Kong you had to. Like they were taking absence or whatever it's called. The campus was really big. As I said, it's like 15 minutes by walking, which is like also a very crazy walk, because what I didn't know before about Hong Kong is that so the cars and the people, they walk on 2 different streets. So basically there's like the floor level where the cars are, and then there's one more level above that with like a bunch of different bridges that go below and above whatever different places. And so from our dorm to the university, for 15 minutes you never touch the ground floor. You could just go directly to the university, which I don't know, I had never seen that before. But that kind of also led me to get lost a lot in Hong Kong, because I don't know, looking at Google Maps, you don't really know if you should go to the 2nd floor or the 1st floor of the city. And yeah, that was kind of hard to navigate around, but it's good to know beforehand. In the campus, you have the famous building built by Zaha Hadid, who is a very famous architect. And so all of the design classes are in this building. So it's kind of like the design section of the university, but they kind of use it to promote the whole university, and everything else is kind of like this red brick kind of thing. They had a pool, they had a gym, they had like different sports clubs. I went to do judo. They had a 7-Eleven in there. They had a Subway. They had different shops. Because they also had fashion design, they had a small shop for people to sell their like designs and clothes, which was really cute. And they even had a whole ass doctor there. Dude, like once my tooth was hurting, so I went to the doctor. Like they had a special dentist in in the campus. They also had a normal doctor where I like went, and they gave me like coughing syrup and stuff. It was crazy. Like never seen a campus with so much stuff before. But like you have to think that this is usually a private school and that you have to pay for. Like in Germany, you don't have all of these services, but also you don't pay for it. So, but it was crazy though. Like after studying in Hong Kong, like God, my expectations are now so high. They're just too high, bro. Like nothing really excites me anymore. After Hong Kong, I also studied in Denmark, which I'll be talking about way later in this channel, because I have a lot of videos coming up that I've been filming in the past year. So yeah, I really liked the university. I loved all the teachers. The classes were great, so I would actually really recommend the university. Now, let's talk food, shall we? What I have to say about the food is that I think it's gonna take you at least 1 or 2 weeks to actually figure out the things that you like to eat there because their food is quite different to European foods. So, as I said, I was in Germany before, and here, everything is like pretty Western, pretty like bread and meat heavy. But in China, it's like people love the feeling of this like gummy like texture. So they like stuff that is chewy, very fatty, chewy food that they have usually, which I was not too much of a big fan of, but I tried it and I did find a lot of stuff that I loved. And so I'm gonna be making a separate video for like of foods that I loved in Hong Kong that I would recommend. But some things that I can like maybe say right now are there was like this one noodle place which is close to the dorms that I lived in PolyU. It was like called Shanji hand cut noodles. I'll put the picture right here. It was the best. Like it might have been the best food I've ever eaten. Once I found out about those noodles, I ate them pretty much every week because it was just so good. It was basically like hand cut noodles with like a peanut kind of sauce. They put some peanuts on top of there, and then they had like a chicken that they cut up and also some like vegetables. It was so good. I don't think it's like really Hong Kong food, but it was great. I don't care. Like, I have dreams about that place. Like, sometimes when I'm in my dreams, I'm like in Hong Kong and I'm like, oh my god, I'm in Hong Kong. I can go to that noodle place. It's insane. But yeah, I really miss that place. So the second thing that I loved was the Hong Kong style milk tea. So as you know, Hong Kong has a lot of like British influence, so they have their own kind of milk tea, which tastes so good. It's made with like black tea with condensed milk in there. It's really sweet. They have it hot and cold, and it tastes so good. They also have a version with like milk tea plus coffee. I forgot what it's called, but it's also really special. You should go try it definitely. You have to also eat dim sum. They have so much different variety of dumplings and stuff, and it's also pretty cheap. And what I really loved are the 7-Elevens and Circle K's. Oh my god, it's so convenient. Like compared to Germany and other Europe, like everything is like so many things are open 24/7. It's so convenient to just go grab the food that you want, and it's so nice. Like you don't have to think about, oh, it's Sunday, I cannot do anything today, like in Germany. Oh, it's past 8 p.m. I cannot live anymore. It's great. So everything is very convenient, and also most of the time it was pretty cheap. So they have some very nice food you should try around. So let's talk about some culture shocks that I had in Hong Kong. So one big culture shock that I had was how fast everything is. The MTR was so fast. It was so connected, so smooth. Like so many people live in Hong Kong, yet I didn't really feel like it was crowded, because it was so good to like it's so easy to get from point A to point B, and it's so fast that you don't really notice how many people actually live there. That was really amazing. So like I think there was an MTR, a train every 3 or 4 minutes or something. Even the escalators, like the stairs that go up, they were even faster than any place I've ever seen, bro. Like I kid you not, even the escalators are fast. I talked to a bunch of like locals as much as I could, and one common thing that people said that they don't like about Hong Kong is that it is so fast. But as someone who has lived in like slow Europe most of my life, I think it was quite exciting to live in a city that's so fast because I was just so bored of the slow life. But I can see how it can get too much if you live there for a long time. So the second culture shock I had was like with the sitting situation, like privacy situation. So I once went to like a restaurant alone to eat, right? And like I sit down at like a table and half of the store was empty, like half of the restaurant was empty, but they made me stand up and sit with like strangers that I didn't know, and the people that were sitting in that like on that in that table didn't know each other either. So they don't want you to take up space because a lot of people live in Hong Kong, so they don't want you to just like be alone or be two people and occupying a table of four. They would rather have a lot of people sit in the same table so there's more space. There were like two businessmen just eating their foods, and these ladies came and then they like, without saying anything, they took their like food, put them to a different table. These like men, they didn't even say a word, and they were just like, okay, they stand up and go sit there. But yeah. And oh my god, the culture shock I had. It was like if you're a Westerner or like a white person, or white looking. Yeah, I'm not white, but I don't know. I'm Middle Eastern-ish, still white-ish. So a lot of Chinese girls, a lot of, not even just girls, a lot of Chinese people that came to Hong Kong. Hong Kongers are fine. They're used to seeing like expats and whatever. But with Chinese people, oh my god, like people that came from Shenzhen to Hong Kong, they came up to me. They were like, "Oh my god, you're so pretty. Can we take a picture together?" It happened to me so many times. Like once we were at the beach with a friend of mine, and there was like a group of people in front of us, and they were like looking back to me, and I was like, "Damn, are they looking at me?" I'm like, "Who are they looking at?" And then they actually came to me and are like, "Yeah, you." And I'm like, "What? What do you want?" And then they came, and then they actually spoke English, and so she was like, "Oh my god, you're so beautiful." I'm like, "What do you mean?" And then she's like, "Yeah, you're the most beautiful girl at this beach." And then she like asked her like friend group, and they were like, "Yeah, you're the most beautiful girl at this beach." Because like just because I'm like not Asian, and it was crazy. And then they like took pictures with me. This also happened like once in Halloween. They like a group of girls came up to me, like 5 different girls, and they were all from Shenzhen. They took pictures with me individually, and it also wasn't because of like my costume or anything. It was just because like I was like white. It was insane. And it's even crazier because once like I was traveling to Korea. Dude, even in Korea, a Chinese dude came up to me and he took a picture with me. Like, bro, what? Even in Korea? What? I don't even know. So, last portion of this video, the travel. I want to talk a little bit about traveling inside of Hong Kong and where you could go outside of Hong Kong. So inside of Hong Kong, what I really advise you to do is you should travel to the different kinds of small islands that Hong Kong has. So if you didn't know, Hong Kong is made out of a bunch of islands. I don't even know how many, but I'm just gonna guess 100. I don't know. There are like many small islands that you can go to, and they also have like some boat trips that do like island hopping. So for Hong Kong, it's if you imagine Hong Kong, it's not just a bunch of concrete and like tall buildings. It's maybe that's like 20% of it. 80% of Hong Kong is nature. It's great. It has beaches, it has mountains that you can climb, and a lot of hiking, and it also has like great tropical greenery. It's so versatile. I didn't know that about Hong Kong before going. It has like such a tropical vibe, and it's so humid and hot and so green. See all the scenery that Hong Kong offers, and then go island hopping. And for example, like one island that I really loved in Hong Kong was Cheung Chau, I think it's called. It was the cutest island ever. I think you took like a ferry there for like, I don't know how, like 30 minutes or something, maybe a bit more. And then it was like a small remote island where no cars were allowed. It was only people driving like bicycles, and it was so cute. Like they had so many like small local shops and a lot of like street food, like jumbo fish balls and like a lot of mochi and different kinds of food. That was so cute. Travel inside of Hong Kong, there's so much to see. And for traveling outside of Hong Kong, you should definitely go to Macau. Macau has like a lot of Portuguese influence. Like some streets actually look like Portugal. Like their signs are still half Portuguese, half like Cantonese. They also have like these pastel de nata, like the egg tarts. Definitely go to Macau. It's just like an hour by ferry, and you need to show your passport to go. And if you can go to China, you should definitely go to Shenzhen. Like the girls who came to take pictures with me. It's like north of Hong Kong. I sadly couldn't go because like I wasn't really sure if I could go with my like Turkish passport and blah blah blah. What I did was I traveled to Japan and Korea because like I wanted to go there my whole life. Like I was an otaku, I loved anime, like a whole weeb, and like I loved K-pop, blah blah blah. So I had to go to Korea and Japan. But what I wish I did was also travel a bit to Southeast Asia, like to go to Vietnam and Thailand and like Bali and stuff. But like back then I wasn't really too interested in those, so I didn't do that. But now, like after seeing so much nature in Hong Kong and blah blah blah, and actually traveling to Japan and Korea, I'm like, damn, I really need to go to Vietnam. I really need to go to Thailand. So yeah, that's it for my about Hong Kong. I could talk about so much more, and I will also make some different videos about Hong Kong because, as I said, I have filmed a lot in Hong Kong, and I will also share a lot of videos about Japan and Korea later on. So stay tuned if you want to see that. Which of these things that I talked about today shocked you the most? Or which did you not expect? Please let me know in the comments. I would really love to know. If you would like to watch some of my old videos, click right here. This is probably going to be a video you would also like. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.